Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another round of the Blitz World Series!
All right, let's get it going. Gino in yellow in the bottom left, all the way out of Australia to join us here on the internet today to crush Andy, who is in red in the top right, out of California. And Andy's the crowd favorite, I'm not gonna lie. He's got more reps on the map, but Gino's scrappy. He's a tried and true player. He's hard-nosed, he's smart, and he knows Andy as a player. So it'll be interesting to see here what Gino can come with. Maybe give Andy some different looks. Yeah, Andy had a pretty good match with Zane on this map the other day, so definitely a little bit more familiar with it than Gino. But Gino has played the Blitz format a couple times, so he understands the economy. And so we see Andy turtling in here a little bit. A big advantage, a big move for Gino would be to try to win the first couple points when Andy is messing with him. Andy's the kind of player who, when he thinks he's going to beat someone, he likes to mess with them a little bit. Oh, Gino. Gino. Gino builds an engineer. Engineers do not work. Oh, deals with those Connies very nicely with that flak. Flak tracks are a nice way to deal with conscripts. I like that. It's a good move. Good counter for the conscripts. You can run them over. You can use the flak to shoot them. It's nice. It works well. So countering those early conscripts. And Andy settling into, looks like just some turtling here from Andy now out with some early bunkers. You see he's got a tight build compared to Gino, who's stretching a little bit. Andy jumps in there and grabs that health crate. And now Andy pushing with a lot of conscripts. Ooh, and really getting it done with those flak tracks. But where are the rest of Gino's tanks? What else is Gino doing? Gino now out with a radar, and very early has to resort to the Deso. I think Gino forgot to be building stuff. Oh, nice Deso though. Ooh, got that barracks up to get the Desos right on the front line. So he will live to fight another battle, but in kind of a tight spot here. There was about 45 seconds where I think Gino was not building tanks. Path, how you doing, buddy? Path in the house. Doing good, man. Doing good. Ooh, gets that elite conscript. So doing good work with these Desos. But gonna need more if he wants to try to win this. Andy now on 4 war factories. So the storm is coming. He's got a bunker out. Just trying to get some damage in with these Desos, which is pretty nice, actually. Ooh, could have kept that Deso deployed. Would have got some good damage done. But Andy now really taking advantage of that middle, getting some nice health crates, which works well against the Desos. You can really take a lot of damage. You go grab a health crate, you're all good. Like to see a Deso pop out here on the bottom right. Yep. Nice. Gino severely out-tanked, though. Andy would have to make a couple big mistakes here, but... and now pushing in. Gino now on 2 oils, which is also very tough. But this is good. You know, this first game, drag things out a little bit, get warmed up. Don't spend time warming up on 2 games. If you can hang out the first game, even if you don't win, get acquainted, get warmed up, come back for the second point. I like where Gino's head's at. Making Andy work for it a little bit. Ooh, backdoors that Deso, and now Andy between radiation and tanks. But Gino puts himself on his own radiation for a second there. And now Andy on the left side, backdoor in Gino's base. Gino without much to defend. Gino having to pull back his entire army. Andy's diving for the MCV. Looks like he is going to hit it. Takes the MCV. But Gino is coming out on top.
Player defeated.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you would have taken those tanks, Gino had nothing left. It would have been difficult for Andy. You know, Andy had 6 war factories, so he could have just done that forever. Andy takes home the first win, Soviet versus Soviet. Now switching to Allied versus Allied. Wow, I wish it didn't say exclamation mark brute. It's supposed to say exclamation mark Kong on the right side. Now we're going to have some random spectator who's going to be wondering what's going on. He's going to type in exclamation mark brute. He's going to get the wrong information. Gino switches to Germany. Switching to Germany does not matter. Germany and America play the exact same with the Blitz mod. Path, buddy. Wait, Path, your computer was making terrible smells? Path, thanks for appreciating the flags, man. Took me a ton of work to come up with, but I like it, you know? Really shows off how global Red Alert 2 is. Glad you appreciate it. Yeah, that's so weird, Path. So the computer was, like, burning or something? Alright, Andy now in the top left. Gino in the bottom right. Allied versus Allied. And, Andy bringing out a bunch of GIs, but not rushing with them right away, which is interesting. I think we'll see more conservative build from Andy here. Kind of staying in his corner as Allied. Protect himself, get his air going, get his Harrier, or get his Eagles going, get his Rockies going. Man, Path, that is no good, dude. Sucks. But I'm sure, you know, it's not like you were exposed to it for, like, ever, you know? Oh, nice, I mean, it's just good that you stopped, that you did something about it. Some people might have kept the smell for a long time. Oh, Gino, gotta get away from that oil derrick. Okay, so the sniper's out of range. So that's a nice hit, and now in with some Rockies. Gino with no air defense, does have some money. Gonna target that sniper. Okay, so Gino needs to counter the Rockies, but here come the Eagles to take out the IFV. Can he make a miss? Can he make a miss? Ooh, makes one miss, but the other does hit. So now Gino has a couple things to worry about. He's got Rockies he needs to worry about, and Andy's gonna dive on the War Factory, and I think he is gonna get it. He forces the sell. What my repair? Not sure what Gino's saying. Now Andy just kind of picking him off with these Eagles. Oh yeah, that's a good call because you get some dust in there. It can start burning, heating up. That's no good. Gino gets a paradrop in the backside. Gonna try to do a little work there. Andy quickly counters with the Rockies. Andy on no War Factory at this point, just doing work with those Eagles. And Gino broke. Is able to counter that paradrop with some Rockies. So now Andy pushing in with some more Rockies. We'll see what building Gino has coming right now. Another barracks. Oh, just out of range of that Patriot missile. Let's see if he still has power. Nope. So that does put him offline. Andy snipes another power plant. And Randy really doing work here right now. As an Allied player, you know, really taking advantage of the small map. Just really dominating with those Eagles. And now a pretty massive Rocky force. Gino forced to put up Patriot missiles and try to just hold on. Yeah, weird path. I've never cleaned my computer either. Now I know. Gino undeploys the MCV, goes on the run. Oh, loses it anyway.
Player defeated.
And Andy takes home another one, 2-0. And now we have, so now Gino goes Soviet. Yeah, Gino is. Yeah, Gino is a good player. Yeah, and we've seen this before. You know, you throw Yeah, and that's the issue with the Blitz game mode. We've seen this before. I mean, Legends, tried hopping in and just gets curb stomped. I mean, it really is about. It's not really about. I mean, it does help. There are traditional mechanics that come into play if you're a traditional player. Um, if you're a great traditional player, you're going to be better than obviously a terrible player. But at the end of the day, it's so different than the other game modes. Having reps on the map is so big. We saw Jaz in that first tournament. Jaz put 1,000 reps in and just crushed everybody. He was crushing players who traditionally are better than him. And that's really what it comes down to. There are some exceptions. Woody, for example, Woody and Jaz played, and Woody crushed Jaz, even though Woody had only played the map a few times. So there are some exceptions, and some players, I don't know, I guess they just kind of adjust to it a little bit faster. Same kind of thing when you see the SFJ mod, different players, I don't know. It is interesting to see how it goes, though. But Gino is a good player. It's best of 9, so he's got some time here to work. He's got Soviet versus Allied right now. And the biggest thing is the build orders early on, trying to figure out what your strategy is. I think as a Soviet, I'd like to see a War Factory a little bit earlier. So he's going 4 oils. It's just hard because you got to do some early damage, because as soon as the Allied starts rolling with those Eagles, it's just so devastating. 3 Eagles, not enough to get an Oil Derrick. I think 4, no, it does take 5 to get an Oil Derrick, I think. But if you get some chip damage with those Rockies first, out with a flat cannon. So flat cannon's nice. A few flat cannons will really, really slow down the Eagles. Eagles are expensive. Takes time to build them. So if you get a couple flat cannons out, make sure he loses a couple every time he comes in. It can make a big difference. Now out with the flak track as well. And I like this from Gino. Gino knew that Andy, Andy, again, no War Factory. Andy doesn't even have the ability to build tanks right now. Oh, another flat cannon right there, and Andy's going to take a lot of damage. Andy now off screen with those Eagles. Oh, chain reacts the MCV. Oh, no. Oh, poor Gino. Oh. That was too bad, because Gino actually did work. I mean, Gino really played that well. Like, Andy lost so many Eagles there. but unfortunately a chain reaction on that oil, and that's one of the lessons that you definitely learn the hard way. Two elite conscripts, and Gino now throwing the farm at him. He destroys the AFC. Destroys the AFC, saves his War Factory. He's now diving on the MCV, and he loses his MCV. Wait, so, okay. All right, what do we have left? Let's assess. Gino has a War Factory, a bunch of oil, and a barracks. Andy only has a barracks, no tech. Andy does have an AFC. So Andy can still build Eagles. If Gino could get this AFC, he's not going to be able to, and he needs to be careful. This AFC is going to be a big difference, because if he can take the AFC, then Andy loses his ability to build planes and loses his ability to build Rocketeers. He has to hit this AFC, but Andy also has GIs on the bottom now. Bottom trying to push in. He hits the AFC, okay, so that's big for Gino. Andy now down to a barracks, building GGIs. And so Gino should be able to close this one out. He's just got to play smart, and he can't. There's no radar though, so he can't get a Deso out to counter these. Andy's got a lot of foot soldiers coming in, and Andy does have a sniper, so he needs to be really careful, manage those conscripts well. And Gino countering with the flak tracks, that's the right move. Very heads up. That's the best tank to counter this infantry right now. And Gino can play the time game. If Gino can hold off, takes advantage of that cliff, if he can resist this push, then he can slowly win the game because he has the War Factor. And Andy knows that and quits the game, and Gino takes home a win. And that's what we're here, folks. That's what it's all about right now. Games like that, Gino on the ropes, getting punched, digs deep, finds the counter punch, sells the farm, goes in, and picks up a win. That was really great. Fun to watch. So that was... Wait, this is game 4, so now it's Iraq versus America, or Germany, okay. Iraq versus Germany. All right. Yeah, Andy's got some good builds, especially for Allied. The way he keeps his base nice and tight is really the strategy for Allied. You know, turtle up, get that shell going, and then work your eagles is kind of what we've seen Allied play well, especially versus Soviet. You don't want to stretch your base out as Allied. Like I've said before, get the pillboxes going, get your economy rolling, try to move into a mid game, because the beginning, the longer the game goes, the better it is for Allied. Once you get your prism towers, once you get prism tanks and mirages, once fully teched, Allied can be absolutely OP. But super early on, it's hard to resist the early Rhino pushes. But Andy, as usual, putting on a show for us. 3 barracks on 1 oil, and doesn't look like, and now bringing the MCV as well. And Andy, and that's why Andy's a player for the people. Always going to make things interesting here. Bringing the MCV, bringing the conscripts. But Gino is out with a Navy SEAL and gonna be devastating. Forces him to reroute the conscripts. Andy maybe trying to run over the Navy SEAL. If Andy runs over the Navy SEAL with the MCV, but that MCV taking a lot of damage now. Oh, but Gino gets the Navy SEAL out of position, loses the Navy SEAL. Andy builds the MCV, but not much health left on it. Oh, gonna lose the MCV. Those Rockies were a nice counter. Pushing in with the conscripts, takes the barracks. Oh my god! So now Gino running with his MCV. I don't like the route. I don't like the route. Oh, Gino could have got away with that MCV. And these Rockies, not enough. Wow. Oh, but he...
Player defeated.
Andy? Wait, Andy quit that? Wait. What? Wait, Gino... That is so weird. Gino only had an AFC. Wait, Andy had oil and a barracks. Andy could have built an endless amount of troops, right? What am I missing here? I don't know. Oh, did Gino? Oh, Gino still had... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Gino still had the Rocketeers. Okay. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, because even a few Rocketeers... Yeah. Okay. Good point. I was kind of surprised. Oh, yeah, so Gino had an elite. Vinny with the first time chat. Thanks for hopping in and correcting me. Yeah, I guess that's how it is, though. You know, a player like Andy, he knows when he doesn't have a chance. And I guess for me, like, it just takes me longer. Like, in my head, I'm like, an AFC versus a barracks... you can build troops and win, but not the case. The Rockies obviously make a big difference as well. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow, what a banger, man. That was tight. And now we got 2-2. Let's get it going. Oh, man. I'm psyched. Good games. That was really close, though. Andy's conscript push actually worked really well. Gino got that Navy SEAL out of position, which made a big difference. If you have the time to get an IFV out, obviously IFV Navy SEAL would completely thwart it. But yeah. Rick, no, the oil derricks do not count as buildings. So if the oil derricks are your last building, the game will end. All right, so now Sov versus Sov, and Andy again, building into the corner. It's interesting to see that from Andy. Most top players always stretch themselves out, but you know, Andy's the kind of player who is known for kind of meta redefining tactics. So it'll be interesting to see. It's interesting to see different things come from him. I'm a little like his oils stress me out. You know, if you get a group of rhinos, you dive in the back of the base, you hit one, you're going to get 3 or 4. So that's kind of scary to me. But if you have enough defenses, I guess it's not really an issue. All right, so now Gino out with his own conscripts. I'm not sure if he's going to put those guys in a bunker or what he's got planned yet. So now he's out with some bunkers. Andy now just out with a war factory. And again, this is I've talked about before, but it'd be nice to see baiting. You know, if you're out tanking the enemy, it's nice to bait some sentry guns. You can make a big difference if done correctly. It would be difficult because Andy has so many bunkers, but Well, realistically, right now, Gino could go in the back of Andy's base and probably take an oil derrick. Maybe not now. Andy's now out with a couple rhinos, but he may have. Oh, and Andy pushing super early tech does put himself low power though for the moment. You see Andy's radar on the top right is not spinning, which means Andy's low power. Out with the nuke reactor, and Andy was super early tech, and Gino not building tanks. I'm not sure. Gino hasn't been building tanks. Gino's war factories are AFK, right?
My truck is loaded.
The demo truck, but it's been too long. Gino's on. When you see someone on 6K at this point in the game, it means that they've been AFK. I don't think Gino was building tanks, and that's gonna really cost him. Now trying to make something happen with these demo trucks, almost never the move, but it is entertaining. So shout out to the demo trucks because I like it. Forces Andy to reroute that Kurov. He's got a couple early flaks on it. Got another demo truck coming here. Not going to be able to get past the bunkers. Oh, takes out 2 bunkers. That's a nice hit. I'll take that time and time again. Now Andy out with some siege choppers. Andy now on an iron curtain as well. And Gino keeping it going with the demo trucks. Once the opponent realizes you're doing the demo trucks, it's usually not the move, but the siege chopper's out to counter the demo, and they're going to do it perfectly. But demo truck on the top side as well. Oh my gosh, the double demo truck hit. I love that. Go from the right, hit him from the left. Now Gino out with some V3 rockets, showing the fans why he is a top-level player, keeping Andy on his toes, giving him some really nice different looks, diversifying the portfolio. Andy now with a nice little split on the bottom side, 3 rhinos undefended. We'll see how long it takes Gino to pick up and see if Andy can get some damage done on the bottom side in the meantime. Andy circumnavigates that bottom bunker nicely. Gonna go for the MCV, not gonna have enough time for that, but it could just be a oh, and Gino again, oh, and uses the iron curtain. Perfect iron curtain, takes the MCV, and at the same time that's a nice 1-2 punch because as Gino is looking at that, Andy's on the top side with a Kurov, gonna be getting work done, targets the flat cannon, a demo truck out now. And oh, and Gino with no air defense. Gino now forced to push in through 2 Tesla coils. He's now got 2 flak tracks out. That Kurov's doing work. Oh, but ooh, nice chain reaction. What happened on the top right there? I missed it. Did Gino must have hit an oil derrick? Massive chain reaction oil derrick? Is that what just happened in the top right? Lost his MCV. Andy now on the bottom left with his own tanks in the base. Oh, Gino gets a drone out. Gino gets 2 drones in. So doing some work here. He does slow down that attack from Andy. Another Kurov coming. Needs to manage those flak tracks nicely. Andy not left with much. Andy, as the dust settles here, let's see what's going on. Andy does not have any tanks. Gino trying to get some drones in. Those are Andy's last 3 tanks. Andy does have a nuke. Andy's got no war factory and no MCV. And Gino's bringing out the terrorists. Gino's bringing out the terrorists. Oh my god. Andy's in a bad spot. Andy's got some desos. So Gino needs to get a little bit creative though, because oh, this is not good. Okay, wait. So Gino's got to stop messing around, because when this nuke takes his war factory, Gino's gonna have nothing left, and Gino's still building. Oh, Gino hits the iron curtain way too. Oh, wait, Andy just iron curtained Gino's war factory? So now the war factory is going to go. So now Gino's going to lose his war factory. So...
Player defeated.
Wow, I feel like... Huh, that's interesting. Let's pull up. I grabbed a replay there. Let's pull it up, see what we got. So this play, I think we had, what happened here? Oh yeah, the demo truck on the right side. So you see Andy siege coppers, he counters that demo truck, but then Gino's 1-2 punch, oh, gets the demo truck on the top side. Andy actually sells the war factory. Man, Andy is quick on the punch for those kind of things. So that was just Soviet versus Soviet. So now we have Allied versus Allied. And Andy takes home the win there. Yeah, if you watched, if you went back and watched it, that last game, I think in the last couple minutes, there was Gino had a war factory and a barracks. Gino could have, instead of spamming the demo trucks and the terrorists, I feel like he could have got some rhinos out and made something happen. It was tough, though. With Andy having a nuke and enough units to defend himself, Andy might have been able to nuke that one home one way or another, as he did once he hit the war factory, but it was close. It was close. All right, Andy takes the lead 3-2. We now have Allied versus Allied. This is definitely the matchup I think Gino probably struggles with the most. So, you know, it'd be nice for Gino to get a win here, but this is a tough one. It is race to 5 if you're not very good with math, best of 9, so it's not game point. But if Gino could somehow pull out a win, Gino's really got to try to get creative here, though. Andy's Allied has just been looking really, really strong. But Andy giving a different look here. Andy out with a War Factory, super early War Factory. Let's see if he starts pumping Grizzlies. IFVs. Oh, he's going to bring some GI IFVs. I call them GVs instead of saying GI IFV. That's too many letters. I just say GVs. So Andy out with some GVs, and these can be used very nicely. And with an IFV to counter the early Rockies. And Gino was trying to go early Rockies, and that's not the move. Well, oh, and Andy sells the MCV now in Gino's base. Gino with nothing to defend himself with, and that's hard. An early push like this from Allied, it's not expected. So to the untrained eye on this point, you think, oh, that was easy. Why did Gino do that? But that's actually incorrect. The point is, Andy has played Allied now several times, and he's played Allied very, very differently. And Gino was not expecting this from Andy.
Defeated. And
so, you know, it's really, Gino really didn't do anything wrong. Andy just made a good play. Andy picks up another quick win there, 4-2. So now Gino, Soviet versus Allied. All right, let's get it going. Match point for Andy if he can take it home. You know, Andy's obviously got, you know, his Allied matchup, which he's, you know, most comfortable with. But Gino's Soviet here. Gino's very comfortable Soviet player. So see what Gino can bring. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I mean, that's the thing with Andy. Andy, you never know what he's going to bring from his Allied. We saw a super early push there. So now Gino's got to be thinking, you know, and that's what's the hardest thing is when you're playing a player like that who has such different looks. It can get so difficult because you're ready for this, then you're ready for that. And now Gino bringing a bunch of conscripts. Andy has it scouted, though, on the backside with a dog. Okay, stops the dog. But this is hard. The conscript rush is very, very difficult. It works almost never, but crazier things have happened. And you feel it, you know, once you've lost a couple games, it's definitely tempting to try to push like this, to try to give something crazy, kind of throw a Hail Mary and make something happen early. It has worked before, but I don't think today's the day. Andy also had a scout on it right away, and that's the big thing with these early infantry pushes. It really depends on how sneaky you can be, and if the opponent knows right away, it's very difficult to pull off. So, Andy Andy on 6 oil derricks, no war factory. Let's see what he goes. He might even bring AFC next. Another oil derrick. All oil derricks. Gino in the base with a single flak track. Gino out now with a rhino. Is there conscripts in that flag? Oh, there's just an empty flak track. And Andy now building engineers, which can't do anything except repair buildings, which is almost never the move. But you never know. And I'm not sure what these flak tracks are for. Andy does not have an AFC out, so he doesn't really need anti-air. I'm not sure exactly what the move is. Wow, that is so weird. So Gino now out with a crazy Ivan. He's going to try to get a bomb laid on the oil derrick. But Andy, before he did that, Andy bought an engineer, which gets the bomb off the building. I'm just like kind of confused because I swear Andy built that engineer before the Crazy Ivan even came, which is just like very interesting. I mean, like I mean, no one ever uses Crazy Ivan, so how did he predict that? I'm just a little confused. But maybe he had already built one. Maybe I missed the calling card. Maybe there was a Crazy Ivan already out. Maybe Andy can see the future. I don't know. So now he's got some Crazy Ivans on multiple fronts. Going to bring in some different looks here. And Andy kind of playing the game called Come Get Me. And Gino doing a hell of a job. Giving some different looks here. Gets another. I don't think either of those Crazy Ivans got bombs on. And now with Andy's engineers throughout the base, it's gonna be really difficult to get anything done with those Crazy Ivans. But now Gino out with a Kirov. See what we get done with that. Oh, Kirov now Kirov's from different angles. Andy does not have any air defense. A couple GGIs, but that's it. So Andy does not have much air defense. And now Andy pushing in with a couple Grizzlies. Ooh, suicides on his own War Factory. And now Gino gonna lose his nuclear reactor. Gino needs to respond to these Grizzlies in the top right. He has nothing to defend himself with. But this Kirov's gonna be absolutely devastating right now. Oh, if he can hit this other, all of those oils are gonna chain react. All of those oils. Oh. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Kirov's on the hunt. And that's why you don't build all your buildings touching. Yeah, maybe that's it, Schmo. Maybe he was thinking all bait. He's like, hey, I'll build all these oil derricks together, and then he'll have to send Crazy Ivans. Yeah, this is a weird one. A lot of random stuff going on from both players. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Andy still has an MCV. And again, Gino's spamming the demo trucks. I don't know. I mean, Gino's on 8 grand. Andy's on 35 grand. So Andy doesn't have any... Oh my god, Andy doesn't have any oil, and it doesn't matter. Wow. Gino, you got to do something else. You got to do... And now Andy out with a BF. Andy out with a BF and a chrono. Okay, so he gets a drone. Ooh. And he just keeps hammering home the demo trucks. And so Gino now on 4 war factories, so those trucks aren't gonna stop now. But man, it takes a lot to take down an MCV. Oh my god, he cannot get the MCV. Now in with a couple rhinos to do a man's job. Gonna be able to dives on the MCV. Jesus, man, he's making that look difficult. But hey, one way or another, a win's a win. Gino takes it home, and we are going to another game. Wow. Wow. Gino takes it. All right, 4-3, still match point. If Andy can win it, he will take it home. Gino needs to win the next 2 in a row. And so that was, my brain's melting a little bit. That was just Allied versus Sov. So now it's, Sov versus Allied. So Andy playing Soviet, slightly less comfortable. You know, a little bit of room for Gino to try to take advantage, make something happen. Gino forced to win 2 in a row, though. It's not easy against someone like Andy. Going to be very, very difficult. Gino says, thanks for the freebie. Yeah, Andy making it interesting. Although by no means making it easy for him. All right, Andy Soviet in the top right, Gino Allied in the bottom left. Let's see what Gino brings from an Allied here. And also interesting, going to be interesting to see what we see from Andy Soviet. We've seen him try some different kind of silliness with them. Brought an MCV Connie Rush last time. So we'll see. Looks like Gino bringing out a nice anti-scout. I like that for Allied. If you can keep your opponent in the dark early game with Allied, it's really nice because then they don't know, oh, is he going to be able to kill this dog? Oh, Andy reroutes the dog. Okay, nice. And so I really like this. You know, if you don't know, knowing when the Allied player brings out their AFC is so important. Knowing, you know, if you need to start preparing air defense is really, really big. And so the anti-scout's really, really nice for Allied. I like that. So Gino now operating in the dark. Andy does not know what he's doing. Andy out with a couple conscripts, but does not look like he's committing to any crazy rushes. And again, building out the oil derricks. This time spacing the oil derricks just a little bit. I like that, Andy. A little bit safer. Gino in now with a Rocky. Couple Rockies now from Gino. You see he put that AFC in the very dark, in the very back left of his base, so Andy wouldn't see it. Now in with a couple Eagles. So now this is so sensitive right now. It's the Soviet player. Rockies are sensitive, Eagles are sensitive, and they are fragile. Sorry. They're fragile units, and they're expensive units. And as soon as the other player starts building their defenses, it's very, very difficult. And so when he was in the base early on there, maybe he could have hit a power plant, tried to get him low power, but Andy has a lot of power. There's really nothing that could have been done there, I don't think. Looks like he's going to try to target these flak tracks. Ooh, 3 for 3 on the flak tracks, but the Rockies, no Rockies coming behind. So normally you want to, if you can 3 for 3 the flak tracks, you 1-2 punch, then you got to bring your Rockies. You don't go hang out in the monkey pit with the Rockies. Why are the Rockies in the monkey pit? Rockies could be on the top side right now trying to snipe those oils. Andy has no flak tracks right now. So Andy only has flak cannons, so he doesn't have any mobile air defense. So, I mean, that was beautiful. The 1-2-3 flak tracks, but then he didn't make anything happen with it. I think that was a missed opportunity. Tries to push in now. There's a flak cannon. Loses the Rockies. Loses the Eagles. Ooh, hits the flak track. Doesn't destroy it. Did that palm tree protect the flak track? That's weird. Maybe it's because it was a veteran? Do veteran flak tracks? Not sure. Graypo. We got a spam. We got a spammer in the chat. I got any mods in here? Where's Path at? Is he going to save me? Alright, so Gino trying to stay busy with those Eagles, but taking a lot of hits at the same time. Gino low power now. You see his Prism Tower now. Okay, now he's got his power back up. So now Gino's got to get some defenses going. Andy's got a nice group of Rhinos. Gino out with some GGIs. Gino's got money. Keep building Prism Towers. So now a BF out from Gino. Good paradrop. He's going to slow down the attack on the top side. I don't think Andy's going to be able to push in up there. Gets that BF loaded up. But I'd like to see another Prism Tower or something else coming quick. Andy pushing in with the conscripts. Perfect fodder for that tower. Completely gets rid of the tower. And now the BF's left to defend themselves. Okay, another tower out. That tower's too close to the oil derrick, though. Got to be careful of that oil derrick. Okay, sells the Prism Tower. Nice, because he would have lost it. He needs to get some defensive structures built. He needs to get a couple Prism Towers going. But we got a nice group of BFs, though, now. Nice group of BFs. Path, my dude. Thanks, buddy. Andy's still pushing in. These BFs, though, if Gino manages these BFs, he can definitely hold off. Andy now is split on the bottom side. Gino does have a paradrop and a Prism Tower down there. A couple Grizzlies to defend himself. But you see, Gino has completely forgot about his Eagles. He needs to be staying busy with those Eagles. Does not want to use the AFC. Andy coming in from both sides. Okay, Gino holds on. Gino holds on. Another split coming from Andy. We got Rhinos in the bottom right and the top left. And now Gino, you're as an attacker, you love this position for your opponent. You got them on the swivel, and they're thinking, they don't know where to look. They don't know what's going on, and they're so focused on defending themselves that they're not putting together a counter punch. But as I say that, Gino out now with Mirages, which is actually a great counter punch for these Rhinos. I'm worried about Gino's economy, though. Gino has lost a couple of oil derricks, and he's sitting on 5K. He's okay for the time being. Andy pushing in now from both sides, using those conscripts as fodder on the top left. Now completely in the base, undefended in the bottom right. Gino forced to pull a BF back. Gonna lose the AFC. Force shields the AFC. Great save by Gino. Saves the AFC. And another split coming absolutely relentless now from Andy. The attack from Andy. Gino now low power. That Prism Tower not doing work. Ooh, uses all the Eagles on one Rhino. And ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I mean, hats off to Gino for staying in the battle zone right now, because this is absolutely exhausting. Andy is hitting him from both sides, over and over and over again, and this is a lot. This is a really, really beautifully choreographed attack from Andy right now, and we haven't seen this a lot on these maps. The splits like this, the endless attacks from both sides. Oh, paradrop, Gino in the back right. Paradrop, does he get the oil derrick? Doesn't get the oil derrick. I like that, though. Even when you're down on chips, got to be looking downfield, got to try to make something happen. And wow, we are only 6 minutes into this game, so Gino's not going to be saved by the clock. He's got to try to be looking for a win here. Goes in, grabs the pumpkin. I like that. So Gino on 13K. Is Gino's War Factory AFK again? Gino forgets to build tanks sometimes, I think. Now what's Gino bringing out? So Gino now bringing out Mirages. So now Gino realizes, hey, I'm on 12K. He's out now with 3 barracks. I think he's going to get some... Oh, he's getting the GGIs pumping. Get those Guardian GIs pumping. So now Andy's going to push from the right. And as soon as Gino reacts to that, he's going to push from the top side. And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Bulldozes through those BFs. And Gino not with enough to defend himself. Picks up the elite BF. Doing work, but as I say that, Andy dives on the bottom side. Andy now with an elite in the back of the base, takes the AFC, takes the battle lab, and I don't think Gino has anything left, but it's not for lack of a hell of an effort. That was a great game. Fighting tooth and nail.
Player defeated.
Well, GG's all around for the homies, for old Andy and Gino.